Hello viewers, my name is Adam.
And I'm Aaron.
This is Seeking Me Productions bring you another TV season review.
So we really did enjoy the first season of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I wasn't really much of the book fan, when this was really popping out. But through this show, I'm gaining an even better understanding as to why this series is so beloved.
Yes, and matter of fact that Disney Plus this is like the for Disney Plus show the really only be trending, not only on social media but also in the Nielsen ratings. It's very understandable that Disney went ahead and renewed this for season 3.
They're doing quite a lot of good things for this series, especially the stuff that we was actually looking forward to that they could possibly do for Percy Jackson.
And now after season 2 has now finished, we are officially in newly adapted territory going forward.
That's right. They are no longer being held back by what their predecessor in the movies did.
No more comparisons at this point.
No more. This is now on. We're in the running moments here.
And it's very important for them to renew as quickly as possible once the season is done, because
these kids are growing up.
Yeah, especially your lead actor,
unless you're going to be comfortable like what Netflix is trying to do with the Avatar series, where you're just going to have to roll the dice.
Well, they did for season 2 and 3 to film those back to back.
But still, you're dealing with actors that are not going to stay. It's just like if you was doing this for a vampire series or anything like that to deal with supernatural. You got to deal with the fact that we're dealing with flesh and blood human beings, and their children grow. Exactly.
So before we get into the third book, Titan's Curse, season 2 covers the second book in the original Percy Jackson series,
The Sea of Monsters.
So if you're familiar with the book or you watched the film, the second film of the Fox era, Sea of Monsters continues the journey of young Percy Jackson. And he is goes following on a new quest, or piggyback on somebody else's quest, to try and search for the Golden Fleece.
Yes, very similar to what happened in the predecessor series. Unfortunately, the camp was yet again attacked, but in this particular case, a vital part of the camp, the tree that grants them their protection, is damaged by Luke.
And for the going tour the Golden Fleece, if you know of Greek mythology, it has very specific healing properties that they hope can help rejuvenate the tree and back to its strong stance.
But of course, like the earlier season, demigods who have these prophetic dreams end up circling around Percy, and he ends up having this prophetic dream of the prophecy of the destruction that was supposed to be befalling all of Olympus and the divine world, with a 16-year-old child growing into their powers and deciding the fate of everything.
In particular, and not only one 16-year-old demigod who was a child of the three main big three brothers.
Of course, that means Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades.
And with this, and all this with a brewing civil war of the rising of the Titans and the creatures, and also new sub-faction of their demigod group being led by none other than the lightning thief himself, Luke.
But of course, Luke, again, is not just the only one pulling strings. Very much the father of all these guys, the King Titan himself, Kronos, is slipping in his seeds and trying to turn things towards their favor.
Yeah. I feel like so many stories of Kronos being the big bad. There's nothing new in that department.
No.
It's all things leads to Kronos revival.
Usually.
We never read the books, so we don't know how that situation is going to turn out. Come down the line, but it's been an interesting ride, so to speak. For Percy Jackson to be on Disney Plus, like I said, there's a it has a very active fan base.
Yep.
And the way they tell the story, I think a lot of people took aback by the mere fact that they decide to be very as accurate to the book as possible with the kids being of middle school age and stuff.
But that doesn't really hold this series back. What is being asked of these young actors in this role is some stuff that you would necessarily see from any other type of actor in their own in these fantasy series. And I feel as though a lot of this of what's being done in Percy Jackson and Olympians is something that everybody can really enjoy.
It's just the fair fact that while they, as entertaining and interesting as each episode is, this show continues to have a flaw, I think, in terms of immersion of the story, and that is the mere fact that this show continues to be only about roughly 30-minute episodes, and it has a lot of lore dumping and expositions that each character basically spew out each time.
We understand. There's only so much time that you can actually really evolve the story and do it organically, but it runs into the fatal taboos that a lot of series that we've already reviewed on this channel and have to give our input on it and be fair. Again, just dumping out in lore dumps like this is not necessarily the best thing, especially when you're in a medium that is show and don't tell.
From a viewer or from a show standpoint, just watching as it is, it feels like it's more bare bones. It's more it's sticking more closely to it's more plot driven.
Exactly.
Instead of just organic world building, and also character interactions, because the mere fact that you have these characters who are more focused on the mission at hand. There's not a lot of time for we to see these young characters to be youthful, to express themselves as effectively as one would hope in a series as opposed to a movie.
Or at least one character that honestly speaks volumes for is Annabeth's character, where this is actually really something they actually delved a little bit into the series, with the concept of her being a demigod and having that dual life experience of having to live a dangerous and very action-filled existence, and then switching over to what an average teenager has to go through or has to develop into. I love her character. I love what the actress is being bringing into it. But so much of it is her story is really centered on just the mission, and it's not giving us enough time with just being with her. I mean, thankfully in this season we do get some snippets into her origins, at least to some extent through the lens of another character they introduced to us. But for the most part, there's still this wall that is keeping us engaged enough with her and other characters.
If they were to extend the length of these episodes, if there's deleted scenes that don't mind, that doesn't interrupt the flow of the fast-paced storytelling enough that it still be able to allow for audiences to naturally feel for these characters. Percy Jackson, played by Walker Scobell, he shows a more matured personality in this season. He's still naive.
Very to extents that can be very damaging, but something they also take knowledge and note of.
But he is getting more comfortable with this new reality of being a demigod and the type of world that he finds himself in. Think about very unorthodox decision making in this world that a lot of the people have him be at odds with even his peers.
There were moments in this season, because of the choices he's made, that I had to look side-eyed at first, really? This is where we're going? Okay, but there are bigger things, at hand that you probably messed up for.
Yeah, he's focused mostly on emotion rather than logic. And like one of these peers that he continues to be at odds with is the character of Clarice.
You know, when they first introduced her, she was pretty much the typical bully, antagonist.
That competitive jock.
Yeah, that's, that everybody loves to hate or hates to love or anything like that. But I feel as though in this particular season, she really is given a lot more to do, and I do have a better appreciation for what she brings to the table.
She is the daughter of Ares.
And she embodies a lot of what you would think would be
surface level.
Surface level, which you would think would be in a daughter of Ares. However, aside from Percy and yet another character we're going to delve into, I think one of the bigger issues that I have, and I hope this is going to be addressed down the line as the series continues, is that I want to see more emphasis on their ties as being demigods and as being demigods, their ties to the divinity that is their bloodline.
Yeah, I don't know how often in the books that they showcase the special quirks of being a demigod.
Mm-hmm.
Like for Percy's instance, like how often does he actually use his water abilities? Like we introduced a new aspect to him that's later on in the season of the show, but like just how often do we actually, is that expressed in the book? Another character worth discussing is Luke, of course, who is at the moment the main antagonist of the show.
Still love what this character is bringing. I actually think that he gets more intriguing each time we get to delve into him a little bit. I just hope that down the road he doesn't become a throwaway character or a throwaway villain.
From what I'm seeing from this character right now, he is going through a strong dilemma here of being so right now a major pawn in Kronos' overall plan.
Mm-hmm.
It's understandable on what he wants, like his motivations is because of that neglect that he has from his own father Hermes,
and what a lot of these demigods integrally have as being children of the gods.
But their direction in which he can go into is predictable, in the sense that it might be more of a tragic sense, but I'm hoping for a more fresher take.
A little nuance that can really give a little twist into the turns that is his world and his motivations.
Mm-hmm. And something that this fresh perspective of being a demigod is introduced in the new character in this season of Tyson.
I actually really like what Tyson is bringing to the story. I think he's really interesting, especially being a unique case, not just being a demigod, but also a
Cyclops hybrid.
Cyclops hybrid, and the unique intricacies that comes with that bloodline, and how he engages with Percy and the rest of the gang. His nuance and his ability to understand technology, and then also the Cyclops aspects of him, and then his ties to Poseidon and Percy is something that continues to evolve to something that's really interesting.
It's a very humbling, very humbling and sociable personality. That it brings a more welcome dynamic that even impacts Percy in a very significant way that you'll see throughout the season. And also another character worth discussing this season is the character of Grover, who returns with his own side storyline.
Yes, Grover is on his own unique quest of trying to find and locate the god known as Pan, and it's really interesting to see where his journey is really taking him. I feel as though when it came to the first season, he was very much a grounded heart aspect for the team as they developed, but I feel as though he also didn't get as much to do.
He was more of a damsel in distress in this season. Once you figure early on, you'll find out early on in the show. But his presence was missing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's thankful that Tyson, who his bumbling personality, helped with that dynamic, but it mainly benefited Percy as opposed to other characters.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really good. it's more of a compliment for the actor Aryan Simhadri, and then what his presence makes up for the overall dynamic of the main group.
But then we really got to talk about and that's that production value.
It's an improvement from season 1. I would say from the improvement in season 1 is the fact that they expand upon the usage of the CGI VFX and expanding the scope. The cinematography, it does still lends itself to being more television than I would hope to like, despite the very fact that it is a widescreen lenses they're using to mimic a cinematic film, but it's the television, even lighting and the very small spaces in a lot of areas, it does make it more smaller in scope than what the story would suggest.
But there is enough scenes, enough scenarios within the show that really highlights the grand design of the Olympian world. I feel as though they're unique takes on some of the classic monsters, especially the ones that comes from the Sea of Monsters like Cryptus and Scylla. I feel as though they were really cool to really see. I feel as though another show, or at least another production that's going to be delving deep on that concept, does have some pretty unique shoes that they're going to have to fill, and actually makes us interested to see how well they're going to handle some of those concepts. Also, the sirens, I feel as though they were really cool.
They were unique.
They were very unique. But again, it's because of the way that they want to showcase this as a show more than an actual movie or production. In that way, they do give us limited times for us to really experience them.
For this to be a Disney Plus show aimed at a younger audience, so to speak, I am like from this season they did. They don't hold back when it comes to the action. That I'm appreciative. The fight choreography has been improved on this one. That I feel like he's on par with some other action shows.
Yep.
There's not a lot of fight scenes. Only a little bit more from what they showed from season 1 to this one, particularly when Clarice is in action, and even some scuffles that Percy himself goes into.
Yeah, these kids know how to handle some of the weapon combat and certain sequences in which you're dealing with warfare. Looks pretty decent and really interesting when they actually delve a little deeper into it. But there's still plenty of room for them to improve on.
The production is set in modern day, with with trying to blend elements of ancient Greece. I think the best moment of this season that highlights that clash in a very unique way was when they enter with Circe episode, focus episode, but it was only it's only from a limited time. This is part of the reason why I really hope for going forward that Disney starts giving this show more
longer episode
overall for season 2 of Percy Jackson Olympians.
We find it to be still within the good territory. It lands on the same notes that season 1 did. But again, that's still something that the show can wear on its sleeve. We're just hoping that it goes a little bit farther than that.
Treat this as the big young adult fantasy that Hunger Games and Harry Potter used to be. Is what you can only hope.
Yeah.
My name is Al.
And I'm Aaron.
This has been a Seeking Me production. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and comment below. What are your fans what is your take on the Percy Jackson mythology?
What do you want them to do with it going forward? And are y'all game for longer episodes so we can get more of what the show has to offer?
It looks like Greek mythology is coming back in full force in media.
Yeah. Fingers crossed to see what Nolan is actually able to do with the Odyssey.
Because apparently in Amazon bringing God of War, they're skipping over the Greek mythology.
I don't understand why they doing that, and that's a whole other issues that we'll have to unpack later.
Yeah, we'll discuss. You can also discuss with us on our social media outlets of Threads, Instagram, and Letterboxd for other content we don't necessarily post on this channel.
But see you all later.
See you.